Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. My name is Kyle, and today it is Saturday morning, July 17th. We're just like a few, like maybe 10 days away from training camps getting going. So we're going to be doing a Yahoo Sports mock draft. I've been doing a lot of ESPN drafts, but I got a request to do a Yahoo one. I do take requests, so if you guys want a certain Yahoo ESPN sleeper, any kind of application or a specific draft pick, let me know in the comments below. But today we're going to be drafting from the 12th spot in this Yahoo mock draft, and I believe Yahoo is half PPR. So we're going to be using my half PPR projections. I'm going to filter that stuff out right now, and we'll be going with half PPR today. If you guys are interested in getting my 2021 draft kit, you can purchase that on there's a link in the description below, but you're going to get access to my Google Sheet where I upload my projections to. This is a live document, so anytime I tinker in here, you're going to see the live numbers there. And then you're also going to get, access to the cheat sheets, to a lot of interesting stats that I've compiled for running backs, and then some of the data studies that I have. So a lot of good things on the 2021 draft kit, just $15. But man, we're going to be doing a half PPR mock draft here from the 12 spot. So I'm interested to see what happens. I put Aaron Jones on the thumbnail to see if we can maybe get Aaron Jones. I'm a big fan of what he could be doing this season. But anyways, we got about 15 seconds here before it begins, and I just want to take a peek and go through some of my half PPR things. It looks like the quarterbacks are boosted a little bit in the half PPR, but if we're thinking half PPR, I got McCaffrey, Cook, Henry, and Kamara as the top 4 picks. With receivers, it gets a little strange. Devontae Adams separates himself probably because of touchdowns a little bit, but Barkley, running back 5, Nick Chubb, running back 6. So half PPR is nice. I don't play a lot of half PPR, but for the majority of it, you're going to want to get your running backs more than receivers. So over here on the right-hand side, you can see where the picks come in. McCaffrey, of course, Dalvin Cook went number 2. DeAndre Hopkins went number 3. We're getting crazy here, off the rails. I don't know what just happened, especially in a half PPR. I'm going to advise that you do not take a receiver this early. I guess even in the top 5 or so. That's a little strange here. So I'm just going to zoom in here and see if hopefully you guys get a little bit better presentation. But this is my first Yahoo draft of the season. So I just want to kind of look and see what we're looking at here. So this is a good way to look at the results. Hopkins again, number 3, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor. We can view it as a draft board too. So I think this is probably the best way to look at it. So when we get up to pick here, we'll kind of make our moves. But ideally, if you're sitting in that top 5, 6 picks, the running backs that you see here in red, those should be roughly the first 6 picks. You can make a case for Ezekiel Elliott in the top 6 as well. And then after we get to this point, it's kind of it's a free-for-all. You can go receiver, you can go running back. I think in this point, I would go Nick Chubb as he just went, especially in a half PPR league. It makes sense to grab these running backs. And guys like Austin Eckler in a half PPR, not as valuable. Cam Akers could be nice. I like Antonio Gibson a lot. He's going to score a lot of touchdowns. And we are up to pick next. So Travis Kelce, there you go, first round. Let's see what Jared does here, and then we'll make our decision. I would love Aaron Jones. If we can get Aaron Jones here, that's the one that I really, really want. Even if it's Rodgers or Jordan Love, you're going to see Aaron Jones get a career high in receptions and targets this year. Jamal Williams is out of town. A.J. Dillon's a good running back. They're going to try to throw him the ball a little bit more. But the responsibilities that Jamal Williams leaves behind, the majority of those will go towards Aaron Jones, who already is a really good pass catching back. So we're going to get Aaron Jones here as our running back 1. And now we get to choose. We get any receiver we want, basically. Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams. We probably don't want to stack Adams with Aaron Jones. But if we're thinking about going a running back start here, the name that I like is Antonio Gibson. Joe Mixon's interesting. I have him as a top 10 running back as well. But for now, let's just lock in Tyreek Hill. I have no questions with Tyreek Hill. He's a great player. He's on a great team, great quarterback. And we get one of my best receivers available here. I have Tyreek Hill as the number 2 wide receiver in half PPR. And it looks like just in my half PPR settings, he's a 7th best player in fantasy points. So it's interesting to note that, even though I have these filtered as a flex ranking right now, the receivers get, inflated a little bit, and the running backs like Ezekiel Elliott, Aaron Jones, those guys lose a little bit, but they're still more valuable than some of the top end receivers. And you can see that based on how, season long finishes for these numbers. You see a lot of receivers finishing in the top 10. But anyways, we start like a really healthy, well-balanced Aaron Jones, Tyreek Hill start. Let me hit the draft results here. And as we're moving through the second round, Najee Harris. I did think about Najee Harris. That would have been a nice start as well. I'm just curious, since this is my first half PPR mock draft of the summer. We'll do a bunch more, but I'm curious to see who falls to me at the 3-4 spot. I've typically in full PPR, I've been advocating that you land running backs early and continue to draft wide receivers in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds. But we're moving along here. Najee Harris, Austin Eckler, Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams. I really like Antonio Gibson. Let's go to my running back rankings here. And I just want to filter everything right now by half PPR. With that, Antonio Gibson looks like he's going to be my RB11. Joe Mixon's my RB10. I think those guys are really strong running back twos. Again, I really like Najee Harris. He's going to be a solid running back this year. But if we could potentially get someone to fall to us at the 3rd round, I'm excited. Otherwise, we're going to probably wait. So you see DK, this is the 2nd round, and the back end of the 2nd round is a heavy receiver round. You can get Diggs, Adams, Metcalf, AJ Brown. Calvin Ridley's probably coming up soon too. There's Calvin Ridley. Let's take a look and see who's falling here. Mixon's falling. I think Mixon's probably the best value on the board right now. There he goes. I really like Justin Jefferson. I don't have any problems snagging him at the end of the 2nd. Patrick Mahomes, especially in a half PPR, I guess when we did look at my flex rankings, the quarterbacks were lifted a little bit. Miles Sanders, I don't know if I love Miles Sanders at this range. I've been covering the Philadelphia Eagles, and I'm nervous about the Eagles, man. It's all about Jalen Hurts. Does this team think they can build around Jalen Hurts? There's Deshaun Watson rumors potentially floating out there. The team does have 3 first-round picks next year, too. They could be moving on from the quarterback. So this is a huge make-or-break season for the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. And potentially it's like a mini rebuild. So at this range, I mean, I'm not a big Miles Sanders fan. I'd probably prefer DeAndre Swift. J.K. Dobbins actually in a half PPR league. He has if you play in a standard, non-PPR or a half PPR, J.K. Dobbins has an elevated boost for me. Let me see where he is. Dobbins is RB15 in my half PPR rankings. And to be honest, there's really not that much difference from half PPR to full PPR to me. It just kind of changes what you think about when you draft a receiver versus a running back. So we're moving along here. Let me go back to the draft board. We're almost mid-3rd. So Patrick Mahomes goes in the end of the 2nd, followed by Clyde Edwards. A big fan of Clyde Edwards this season. Sanders, Swift, Keenan Allen. There's George Kittle. Darren Waller is still on the board. That might interest me if he somehow falls to us at the end here. I've been advocating to draft tight ends early. If you don't get one of the top 5 tight ends, I usually wait for like a guy like Noah Fant, Robert Tonyan. If Rodgers comes back, there's a massive discount on the Packers right now. So if you guys are using best ball drafts to get your players early, I've been snagging the Packers. I just have a feeling Rodgers is coming back. But anyways, we're almost up to pick. You start to see some receivers trickle off the board. Allen Robinson, Michael Thomas. I would love to draft a receiver or a running back. I just don't know who's going to be available for us. So Terry McLaurin, we'll check these in a little second here. But Darren Waller's still on the board. I can get one of my top tight ends. Let me see where he falls in the flex rankings here. So Kelsey is the 18th. Maybe there's not as much of a value. He's my 35th player, which technically I'm picking 36th and 37th overall. So it does make sense. There's really not a running back that I see value here. Maybe David Montgomery. I can be interested in that a little bit. We're on deck to pick. There goes Chris Carson, Mike Evans, Julio Jones, Godwin. There's David Montgomery. I just mentioned him. And Josh Allen actually goes. He was on the thumbnail as well. So I'm kind of interested in the running backs. David Montgomery doesn't. I think Montgomery makes sense. I don't know what running back he was drafted as. We can count that up in a second. But he was the RB14 last year. And for us, especially at this point, I don't really see another locked in bell cow. So we're going to draft David Montgomery. I think Montgomery could be a really nice value if our guy Justin Fields is the starter. I just want to take a peek at my receiver rankings for half real quick. I mean, I got Amari Cooper as the highest rated one. Mike Evans could be nice. Chris Godwin. I'm gonna go ahead and take the Dallas piece here in Amari Cooper, and we started off with a pretty well balanced draft. So we have Tyreek Hill and Amari Cooper as our wide receivers, Aaron Jones and David Montgomery as our top 2 running backs. And I just want to count real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We got David Montgomery as the RB20 off the board. I would be willing to bet that he finishes inside the top 20, no doubt. He's probably going to pass a handful. Maybe if he passes 3 or 4 of the running backs taken ahead of him, it's been a hit. So Montgomery, again, the Bears, they improved the offensive line. They upgraded. Either way you look at it, Andy Dalton at quarterback is better than Mitch Trubisky, Nick Foles, anything that they've had in the past. So I think the David Montgomery slide needs to stop. Sometimes I see him falling well into that back end of the 4th round. So the fact that we were able to snag one of the last true bell cow running backs is a pretty good sign. And now you see this massive wide receiver run. After we took Cooper, you got Mike Evans, Julio Jones, Chris Godwin. There's Darren Waller. I would have liked to grab him, but the value at Montgomery and Amari Cooper. Sorry. The value of Montgomery and Cooper, I got a top 10 wide receiver and potentially a top 15, top 16 running back at worst. And again, Montgomery was so good last year. His PPR stats should come down because Tyreek Cohen is going to be healthy, but Montgomery played just way too well for us to be drafting him as the RB20. There you see Robert Woods, Josh Jacobs. If you guys want to check it out, I've been covering some of the Raiders' interesting notes here. And if you go to thefantasyfellowship.com, even if you don't get the 2021 draft kit, I do have a tab that's called free content. And you guys can, I try to upload maybe something, one article a week. I went over some overvalued guys at ADP. I showed the best offenses that I want to target. And then this week I did schedule observations. And I put a video on it as well. But this highlights here, green equals defenses that we want to play against, and red is ones you want to avoid. The Raiders have one of the toughest schedules of the year this year. I would be shocked if they win 7 games. Like it's going to be rough for the Raiders. They start the start of their season, it's Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Miami, the Rams, the Bears, the Denver Broncos. And then Philly should be a 50-50 shot. But their end of the stretch here to the fantasy playoffs, they're going to get Washington, Kansas City, Cleveland, Denver, and Indy. Man, I'm really nervous about the Raiders, drafting Raiders guys. So I'm starting to fade some of the guys there. I still like Darren Waller a lot, but more in the PPR setting. So after, I guess we'll kind of recap here. After Josh Jacobs, you saw DJ Moore, Kareem Hunt in the 4th round, Kyler Murray, Myles Gaskin, Adam Thielen, Deontay Johnson. There's TJ Hawkinson and Mark Andrews. So it looks like the 5th round is where you want to get a tight end. There's a clear top 6. Like these guys are always the top. I guess Kyle Pitts is in there too. So Pitts is probably the next guy I would target. But Lamar Jackson, Chase Edmonds, really late for CeeDee Lamb. I know it's half PPR, so that seems to be the 4th, 5th round for Lamb. And as far as what we're going to be targeting next, one of the things I want to stress, if you're new to watching my stuff, I've been making videos for a year, but I don't like to plug in exactly what I need for starters. I just like to continue taking the best players available. And I know that the season is a very long season. Even though I draft somebody that's going to be on my bench, he might get moved up to my starting lineup at some point. So I continue to just take good players. Because I have 2 running backs and 2 receivers, that doesn't mean I got to go quarterback and tight end. I don't try to squeeze things in. I basically understand that the draft is one component to winning a championship. We're going to have free agency, and you're going to have the potential to make some trades. So the best thing for us to do right now is just stockpile good players and take the ones that are value at that moment. So you see some quarterbacks fly off in the 5th, Lamar, Dak, and Russ. Mike Davis would have been nice here. I'm actually very excited about Mike Davis. Let's go look and see my running back rankings. I have him as my 20th running back, and you see David Montgomery up there at 17. But Mike Davis is going to have himself a nice season. There's going to probably be a little bit more run focus for the Atlanta Falcons offense. Again, their new head coach, Arthur Smith, he's been hanging out in Tennessee the last few seasons, calling plays for Derrick Henry. We know he likes to run the ball. So Cooper Kupp, Kenny Golladay, we are up to pick back-to-back picks. Tyler Lockett could be a lot of fun. There's Dallas Goedert, best available tight end. The receivers, Brandon Ayuk, James Robinson, Odell Beckham. I think Odell Beckham is going to be an interest of mine. What we're going to do here is we're going to grab Tyler Lockett. We want a piece of that Seattle offense. Let me see where our guy was. That's full PPR. Let me see. In half PPR, I have Tyler Lockett as wide receiver 16. So we're feeling pretty good about that. We got 3 stud receivers. And at this point, I don't really see any Travis Etienne. I'd be interested in a PPR league. I think I'm going to take Odell Beckham here. I'm going to snag Odell Beckham. He's a luxury pick. So what's nice about this, I haven't been taking a lot of Beckham, but in the 6th round, it makes sense. We haven't seen Odell Beckham healthy for a while. The Browns offense started to peak last summer or last winter into the playoffs. And because we have Amari Cooper, Tyreek Hill, and Tyler Lockett, we don't need Odell Beckham to start for us right away. We can see what he does. I do have Odell Beckham kind of low here. He's my wide receiver 35. I mean, I could have taken a lot of other receivers, but I'm optimistic that he could maybe turn things around. So in the 6th round, we grab our 4th wide receiver. Again, he's not really a starter for us, but he's on our bench, and we can play matchups. We can play things like that. But if he hits, man, that's a huge hit. He could, would it surprise anyone if Odell Beckham's a top 15, top 20 wide receiver this season? Probably not. So we get him in a spot where there's no pressure for him to perform. And we still got our 2 really good running backs. We still have a hole at quarterback and tight end. We can probably begin to look at that a little bit. But I'm feeling pretty good about this draft so far. I just want to see, in terms of half PPR, I still like some receivers on the board here, whether that's Michael Gallup or T. Higgins. We already have Amari Cooper, so T. Higgins would interest me if we get the opportunity to do so. I'm assuming, yeah, he just went, so he's not going to be on our board. How do we filter? Let's just take a peek at the quarterback situation. So we're clearly waiting on quarterback, but the fact that Aaron Rodgers, Justin Herbert, Matt Stafford, Tom Brady, Ryan Tannehill, there's a lot of options on the board. If I don't get one of those guys that I just mentioned, I'm going to make a quarterback duo of maybe Joe Burrow and Matt Ryan, Joe Burrow, Kirk Cousins. Even late, like I wouldn't mind grabbing a rookie. If I want to get a veteran quarterback to start the season, you can build in a draft plan to get a Trey Lance, a Justin Fields. There's some really good rookie quarterbacks this year. So I'm not stressing there. As far as tight ends, I'm surprised. I don't know why Yahoo has Kyle Pitts going 69th overall, but his ADP needs to change. If you guys do play on Yahoo, and if Kyle Pitts is going to linger into the 6th round, that's a mistake. I almost wish I would have drafted him there. So in a month or so, when you guys start drafting for your redraft leagues and Pitts is hanging around in the 5th, 6th round, to me that's a smash hit. I really like Kyle Pitts. And I guess for tight ends that remain, Noah Fant, Tyler Higbee, Robert Tonyan, I talked about him, Logan Thomas, Herbs, there's a lot of tight ends. So we're going to make some kind of, at this point, we got really good running backs and really good wide receivers. We can kind of just make our own little tandems of quarterback and tight end. And again, my philosophy is to always try to take the most exciting player at that moment. Don't try to squeeze picks in. Just because I don't have a quarterback or a tight end yet doesn't mean I need to take one. Value always presents itself, and you're basically just trying to collect enough players at your draft to just get ready for the first week or two, because you guys know, those first couple weeks of the season, injuries, free agency. I mean, you get a guy like James Robinson last year, who was almost like a league winner for some people. Even Mike Davis could have been a league winner. There's a lot of potential to grab guys in the free agency market. And then if you want to wait at tight end, there's always going to be a tight end that emerges out of nowhere. Last year it was Robert Tonyan. You just gotta. It's okay to have a weakness after the draft as long as you know what it is. So we're moving midway through the 7th round. You see Chase Claypool, Juju, Leonard Fournette, Cortland Sutton, Justin Herbert, Ronald Jones. I would like to take a quarterback here. If I just filter and just look at all players available, it's telling me I want Noah Fant and I want Javonte Williams. Let me check out my half PPR rankings. I've been tinkering around, not tinking. I've been tinkering with my projections, and I have 2 running backs here that I'm very, very high on in the middle rounds here. That's Javonte Williams and James Conner. Javonte Williams, I think, is a better running back right now than Melvin Gordon. He's going to be fresh. He's going to do what they want. And he's probably going to overtake him at some point this summer. If not, it's going to be, a month into the season. You're going to get Javonte Williams down the stretch. And again, if you check out that observation schedule thing that I had mentioned earlier, the Broncos have a really nice start to the season. They play the Giants, the Jaguars, and the Jets. Denver should be 3-0 after those 3 games. And then their fantasy playoff run, week 14, they get Detroit, and then first round of the playoffs, Cincinnati, then Vegas, and then the Chargers. So I really like the potential for a rookie running back, Javonte Williams, there. And it looks like he is our top player on the board. We missed on Noah Fant, which is disappointing, but we're going to draft a Bronco here in a sec. I hope if we can get Javonte Williams, I'm going to be very happy. I'm looking around for James Conner. James Conner's down here, so the potential for us not to get him would be, I guess we wouldn't be able to get him with our next pick. So we're on deck here again. Quarterbacks: Tom Brady, Matthew Stafford. I don't mind waiting on quarterback. Let me see the best available quarterback. It's Ryan Tannehill. I mean, at that point, I don't have any exposure to the Titans offense. Maybe that's the move here. We grab a Ryan Tannehill, and then we're going to make a duo at tight end. And because everyone's going to have a weakness on their draft day. We just missed on Tyler Higbee. So we're going to get the rookie running back. What's great about this is he's our RB3. We don't need him to start for us. We can be patient. If you're interested in grabbing a rookie running back, Javonte Williams is the perfect guy to have on your bench. Let me look here. I don't really care for – I like Robbie Anderson a lot. Robbie Anderson this cheap. Whoo. Robbie Anderson is my wide receiver 23. If I'm going to teach you guys to draft value, like that's the value that I see here. So I'm going to grab Robbie Anderson. We're probably done drafting wide receivers. We got Beckham and Robbie Anderson just chilling on the bench. Really good wide receivers, guys. And I will say the leagues that I play in a league that's a super flex leagues. I play in double flex league. So like you would start 2 receivers, 2 running backs, and then you get 2 flexes. So the way I draft and think is I'm probably starting Odell Beckham or Robbie Anderson up here with Tyler Lockett. So for me, I can never have enough good players, good flexes on my team. Again, you guys know injuries happen. Even if it's, I just want to have usually like after the draft, I want to have one of the best benches. Usually fantasy football is a war of attrition. He who has the deepest roster and has all of his bases covered, he's going to have the answers to plug in whenever something goes wrong. So I'm feeling pretty good about this draft. I don't know if you guys are digging it so far. If you guys like what I'm doing, leave me a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Let me know what picks I've been hitting on so far. If you guys like any of them, let me know. If you guys disagree, let me know too. I think we've built some really good upside on our bench right now. Odell Beckham, Javonte Williams, and Robbie Anderson. We're going to have options here. We're going to have options. And the cool thing about the way that I like to draft is I'm not afraid to make trades, especially if you continue to just like we have 5 really good receivers. Like the potential for us to make a move at some point, and if David Montgomery gets hurt, okay, let's trade Tyler Lockett. You got a name that you can move. We can move up Robbie Anderson or Odell Beckham into the lineup. So that's one reason why I don't really stress about not drafting for my my starting roster needs. I'm going to continue to take the best players available. So this draft looks like it's kind of done here. You see everyone's getting auto-drafted defenses. But what's good about this is we're able to build a really good base here for you guys to just kind of see how I like to draft, how to start your team. I think at this point, everyone knows how to fill out the rest of their roster. We can look at, obviously, we need quarterbacks and tight ends. So I could... Worst case scenario, I wouldn't be mad if I had, again, because we waited so long at tight end, I'm going to probably draft 2, maybe 3 of them. If I can get a Logan Thomas, who was a top 6 tight end last year, and then pair him with an Irv Smith, or get Evan Ingram's dirt cheap this year. Cole Kmet, a lot of upside. Blake Jarwin, Anthony Firkser, Gerald Everett, Jared Cook is not a bad option either. Eric Ebron, like you guys can make. Again, because we only need like 8 to 10 points out of this tight end spot. So in a half PPR league, Irv Smith, Robert Tunyon's a deal here, but we can make something work. And then at quarterback, Ryan Tannehill, Joe Burrow, Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins, Baker Mayfield. Let's just get 2 of them, play the matchups. We have, in this draft, we probably have the best group of flex players. So we are going to score a lot of points there. And if we can just get a stable and steady quarterback and tight end option, I'm feeling pretty good about it. And I guess the more, since I did a draft like this in the next Yahoo draft, half PPR draft, I will probably take a quarterback early. I will take a tight end early. That's the great thing about mock drafts is I feel the more mock drafts you do, the better prepared you are. The more you have questioned your rankings, you have those decisions that you've been working on, and you can experiment, build different things. Try a mock draft where you just take 2 or 3 running backs to start the draft. Try a mock draft where you get 2 wide receivers to start your draft. Pull a quarterback early. Tinker, do different things. I think that's the if you can take anything away from this this video, I think that would be it. Is to don't be afraid to try something new. It's a mock draft. Nobody cares. It's not going to hurt anything. It's not going to be what you draft and what you have to play with this season. So we are on deck. So many. This is ridiculous. There's just so many good. Tyler Boyd, Jerry Jeudy, Michael Gallup is still here. This Yahoo draft is kind of done. I'm gonna go ahead and take Ryan Tannehill. We don't have any Tennessee Titans. We got our tight end, our quarterback. Tight ends, whatever. I have Aaron Jones, but we're gonna take Robert Tonyan. I'm assuming Aaron Rodgers is gonna be back. Robert Tonyan scored 11 touchdowns last year. He's gonna come down maybe 7 or 8 touchdowns, but he's gonna be more involved. So we just locked in Ryan Tannehill and Robert Tonyan. If I was drafting for best players available, it's weird because you see all these defenses went, and then you got some kickers going. So this mock draft is pretty much done, and I'll probably sign off in a second. But James Conner, Michael Carter, Trey Sermon, like draft these guys. Draft a rookie running back this year. If you had to take Najee Harris, beautiful. ETN in a full. I like ETN in a full PPR league, not so much in half or standard. But Javonte Williams, Michael Carter, Trey Sermon, take a rookie running back. Take a rookie receiver, whether that is Jamar Chase, whether that is Devonta Smith. There's a couple other rookie receivers that have some appeal, but those are probably the top 2 that I think can help us. Let me see if I have anybody else very high. So Jamar Chase I have as my wide receiver 24. I do have Devonta Smith as my wide receiver 44. I guess those are pretty the only 2. But I'm going to include Kyle Pitts in that. He's basically a wide receiver. Go ahead and take Kyle Pitts whenever you can. But I don't know. I'm going to stay on for the rest of this draft. It's moving the 10th round. It's the mock is pretty much over. People auto drafted a bunch of defenses and kickers. So what we're going to do here is we're going to chill. We're going to fill out the remainder of my sleepers. Even if it's not realistic, I just want to give you guys more names and more things to think about. So we're just hanging out. It's Saturday morning. We got a Bucks game on tonight. Bucks in 6. We'll see what happens. But a lot of excitement in the city of Milwaukee and Wisconsin right now. It's a really big week. I guess a big month with Rodgers and the Bucks and just a lot of things in limbo. The Brewers are playing fantastic too. This is a really good sports month for the state of Wisconsin. So, I mean, at this point in the draft, we have Tyreek Hill, Amari Cooper, Tyler Lockett, Odell Beckham, Robbie Anderson. We got 5 stud receivers. We have 5 top 30 receivers minimum, and potential for all of them to be in the top 20. Aaron Jones, David Montgomery, Javonte Williams. These guys are all going to be very useful running backs. Again, the way that you can draft and build in a Javonte Williams into your draft plan is if you draft, a capable 1 or 2. You need 2 running backs, to start, obviously. But to put Javonte Williams on your bench, don't whip him out there week 1 unless we get really, really good, signs in training camp. But for the most part, if you can stash Javonte Williams, he might be a league winner. And just remember all the running backs last year: Jonathan Taylor, Cam Akers. Those guys helped people win fantasy championships. It took them a while to heat up. It took them a while to get the carries and the snaps. But man, those rookie running backs really stepped up down the stretch. So again, I highlighted the schedule. Check out the schedule, man. Check out the schedule grid here. You can take a peek at it and you can zoom in. I might even put the link on the thing for free. We'll see. But you want to play green defenses. Everyone should be able to pick a schedule that they want to target and try to win a championship with. So, but anyways, we're moving into the 11th round. I think after this round, I'll sign off. We'll make a couple picks here. Let me just kind of filter. I love the wide receiver. We're gonna take Michael Gallup. I'm probably gonna start making some shorter videos too, whether they're like 3, 4, 5 minutes. But I just want to pump out like my favorite players. Michael Gallup is one of the best receivers you can get on draft day. 6th, 7th round, he's going to be a top 30 wide receiver. Dallas offense is going to be so juicy. So draft Gallup if you can. Laviska's going to be fun too. Antonio Brown. Don't sleep in Antonio Brown. If you're going to miss on Tampa Bay, like, you got Evans and Godwin. If you miss on Evans and Godwin, go get Antonio Brown. Don't even think twice about it. We're up to pick here. I like Matt Ryan. I like Kirk Cousins. I like Baker Mayfield. These guys are all teams on heavy running teams. What we're gonna do here is we're just gonna go with Kirk Cousins. He's been one of my favorite quarterback twos to draft. He was quarterback 11 last season, pretty stupid. And then whatever, we'll take Irv Smith. We'll see what happens. So we got 2 tight ends, we got 2 quarterbacks, technically 1 more bench spot. Don't care about kicker or defense. And that's going to do it. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these. I think next week I will do a sleeper app mock draft. If you guys have any requests, please fill that out in the comments below. Let me know what software. Let me know what position, 10, 12 team. Give me the details, and we'll do a custom mock draft for you. So that's going to do it. Thank you guys for your time. Have a good weekend. We'll see you later. Peace.